Welcome to the Germinate podcast, where agriculture, business, and innovation take root and thrive. I'm Joe Sampson, and with nearly 2 decades of experience in agricultural equipment and scaling businesses, I'm here to bring you actionable insights, inspiring stories, and strategic advice. Whether you're an industry veteran or just starting out, this podcast is your guide to cultivating ideas, expanding your knowledge, and growing your venture. So let's get started and germinate your path to success. All right, dude. I think we're finally recording. This is now, try 3 or 4, but
I think we're on 4, yeah.
Tim Burenga with WorkSaver. Welcome back for the 4th time.
Hey, Joe, it's a pleasure to always talk to you, regardless of how many times it takes us.
We had some technical difficulties with our technology, man. It happens. It's funny today. I'm diverting here, but OpenAI is having some issues. Did you see that? Maybe you didn't see that. We talked some AI last time, but OpenAI, like everybody's freaking out because ChatGPT is not working properly today. So welcome to writing your own emails for everybody. You got to get back to it.
Exactly. You know, you and I are about the same age, and we're at that age where we understand it, but we got people to fix it. You know, we're not those people.
Yeah. But I was sort of shocked at how much OpenAI controls a lot of things. Like it controls this podcasting virtual studio as well. They have some, like all the show notes, all the clips. So, dude, it's here whether we like it or not. Nothing you can do about it.
Well, maybe that's why I didn't record last time, because I was talking a little bad about AI. So that might have been the problem.
Yeah. Tim and I recorded about an hour and a half long. It was my longest episode. It was the best stuff. And then I just went to publish it yesterday and found out that you were not recorded at all. It was just me doing a podcast by myself. And I was asking questions, laughing, and I'm like, what in the heck? So anyway, we're back.
Maybe you're on something new here, Joe. I don't know.
It's funny. I did my first solo podcast yesterday as a result, because I'm like, man, I'm running out. So I did one, and that's a weird experience. I much rather have somebody else with me. So I appreciate you joining me. Yeah.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
So we'll talk about, we're going to do a part 2 anyways, because you were so good. So this will be kind of a part 1 and 2, but just to get the full history, why don't you tell everybody about WorkSaver and a little history about the company. So go ahead.
Okay, not a problem. So WorkSaver was started in March of 1980. My dad moved the family down to Litchfield, Illinois. That's where WorkSaver is located at, in December of 79 to take over and run a company called Wycombe Manufacturing. And Wycombe was started in 1947. Well, anyway, Dad was here a couple of months and realized that Wycombe was past saving. So him and his business partner at the time did an asset buy and started WorkSaver in March of 1980. It's always easy for me to remember how old the company is. It's the same age I am. So we're 45 this year. Going to be 46. And anyway,
you're holding up well for 45 and 46, Tim. Good for you.
Well, thank you. Yeah. But anyway, a lot's changed in the last 45 years. When Dad started WorkSaver, interest rates were high. Dealers were going broke. Farmers were going broke. The early 80s was challenging for everything. So luckily, I was too young to remember it. But I do remember Dad not being home much because he was always down here trying to make a go of it. Right. And, just to talk about how things change and evolve over time, in 1980, WorkSaver used to produce over 40,000 3-point drawbars. And we had just rows of lathes set up to turn them, and then rows of rail drills to drill all the holes in the drawbar. And then in 1983, they started coming in out of China, and they were retailing them for what Dad's material cost was. So, quickly you have to change gears and find something else to do. Yeah. But as I mentioned, it was challenging for Dad to find enough customers to keep this place busy. So Dad came from Tractor Supply Company. Back in the 70s and late 60s, Dad ran the manufacturing division for Tractor Supply. They had 3 factories. The largest one was in Richland Center, Wisconsin. And so that's what we were based out of, and all 3 of us kids were born at. And anyway, in 78, TSC spun it off and went retail only like they are today. And sure. Dad tried to buy the Wisconsin factory, but an outside investor had a higher bid, and Dad worked with him for 6 months. They didn't see eye to eye. So that's when Dad came down to Litchfield, because the guy that owned Wycombe was looking for somebody to run the place. So he came down and started this. But anyway, so yeah, it was challenging to find enough work and what to produce. So those relationships Dad had with the farm stores, with Tractor Supply, and then with Central Tractor and Country General and a few of the other ones, WorkSaver started building product for the retail farm store. And so going through the 80s and 90s, we were basically 50% WorkSaver, which we sell to dealers and wholesale distributors, and then 50% FarmStar, which is the brand we produce for the retail farm stores. Mm-hmm. So then I did that about 20 years, and then we got up to the late 90s, and 5 of our retail farm store customers got consolidated through mergers into one big farm store called Quality Farm Stores. And anyway, that ended up becoming about a third of Dad's business. And for anybody who has a business, you don't want anybody to be too much of your piece of the business. Yeah. So we started working on ways to, kind of get that work down and everything, but didn't get it done quick enough. And in late 2000, an equity group bought Quality Farm Stores, and then they basically took them through a bankruptcy and liquidated it with the company within a year. And a lot of us manufacturers and suppliers in agriculture got hurt by this. And I graduated college in 2001, and that's right about the time this all happened. And anyway, it was a quick welcome to reality is, hey, you better get your butt out here and start adding some value because, the business is hurting.
Sure.
So what we did, our partner, Mike Kloster, who's been with us since 2000, was able to get us into the OEM contract manufacturing. And in 2004, we picked up our first 2 large contracts. One was with Woods Equipment up in Oregon, Illinois, and the second was with John Deere under their Frontier umbrella. Mm-hmm. And anyway, we still build product for Frontier today. And that kind of changed our dynamics because the large OEMs just demand quality, and they measure you on so many metrics that most of us small businesses have never even considered before. And sure. Anyway, it's been a great learning experience the last 21 years. It has made us a better manufacturer because you have to follow all the standards and meet all the metrics, on-time deliveries, warranties, everything, and it just helps you working with the large OEMs to become better. So anyway, coming up through the 2000s, we were basically a third of OEM business, farm store business, and then WorkSaver business. And then in 2008, when the Great Recession hit, there was 3 other peers in the ag community that jumped into building 3-point attachments. And they basically took all the profitability out of building for the retail farm stores. So in 2010, we backed out of that. And the way it is even today, we're about 50% WorkSaver sales and then 50% OEM contract manufacturing. And then we've picked up some other OEMs, and we now have 7 major accounts that we build for. So it's like I said, it's about 50-50 on the breakdown between sales. So that gets us up to today. And like I said, I joined in 2001 and started in the shipping department and kind of learned how to run that for a year. And then Dad's longtime plant manager was getting ready to retire. So in 2003, I apprenticed under him for a year. And then beginning right in 2004, he retired, and I took over as the plant manager and the purchasing agent, and did that up till 2014, and then I went to the dark side and took over sales. But I still do the purchasing. I love purchasing, and I love the relationships I have with our suppliers. And Joe, I've known you for years at FEMA, and yeah. I can't give it up. So I mean the boring consumable everyday stuff. Yeah, I have the department heads do that, but the major material buys, the major import buys and everything, I still handle that. And kind of the nice thing is it keeps you grounded because you know what's going on. You know before anybody else in the company that, hey, prices are going up or we got freight issues here, there, or whatever. And it helps you control your cost. And that's, kind of where you make a lot of your profit margin in is what do you pay for your inputs?
Well, and I think purchasing too. Well, is that what you started in when you first started in 2001 was purchasing, or what'd you start in?
Yeah, I started in the shipping department. That's right. Yeah, 2004 I took over purchasing and everything.
Yeah, and purchasing is one thing to get. I think everybody should get involved with purchasing because you're right. You're the forefront of all the things that go into making your final thing. And so if you know the price of all those, and if you know steel prices, for instance, are going up or going down, you can kind of relay that message on. And that same thing with, all the talk today is tariff talks, or at least it was the first time we recorded this. It's a little bit different now. Things have tamed a little bit, but I'd like to get into that. But yeah, it's a good way to get involved with a business without kind of, having to, you learn a lot about everything in a short amount of time in the purchasing department, for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, they get a bit of a bad rap, those purchasing guys, but they do a real work. It's
Yeah.
not easy.
Like I say, it's funny at the FEMA conventions whenever stuff's going crazy. We've had years where steel's gone crazy or freight's gone crazy. I'll talk to some of my fellow purchasers and give you several high fives on when and where we made deals and all this and that. That's kind of fun. But 04 was kind of a baptism by fire, Joe. So my first year, 24 years old, hadn't turned 25 yet.
Yeah,
we just brought on two major OEM contracts that grew WorkSaver sales 38% in the second quarter. And anybody
was that the John Deere? Was that the John Deere contract?
And Woods Equipment.
And Woods Equipment. So, okay, go ahead.
If anybody remembers back 21 years ago, April of 04 is when raw material prices went crazy and they doubled within 30 days. And so anyway, here we got all this growth, and here we've got all this increase in cost. And anyway, I learned some very valuable lessons. One of them was cash flow and how important cash flow is. Yeah. And when you try to grow that fast with material inputs rising that fast, it runs out quick. So anyway, good experience. I'll never forget it. Yeah. And anyway, we just kept growing and developing from there.
There's a sweet spot with cash flow, isn't there? Especially nowadays, people are starting to think about cash flow again. Even during the COVID times, nobody cared. It was like, I got all the cash in the world. But now it matters again. Don't bring in too much damn inventory, and make sure when you do build your products, you get it out the door as fast as you can. Talk a little bit about that. Yeah. It's a huge part of today's manufacturing world.
Well, and that's what's holding up sales right now in the ag community. And it's not the sole reason, but I've done a lot of traveling in the last few years, working with different territory managers in different areas of the country. And the last 2 years, cash flow at the dealerships is all they want to talk about. And it's all about inventory control. And it's all about too much used high-priced inventory that none of us shortliners build. It's all OEM inventory. Yep. But that has caused the corporate groups to put their buyers on hold, and we're only allowed to retail. And that's really held our market back from taking off because, WorkSaver, we are in the agricultural market, but we're more in the consumer market for the land acreage owner. And anyway, we reflect more what the general economy does more than the ag economy. Yeah. And so we're always the first to get into the crap and the first to get out. And it's our market is poised and ready to go. But the reluctancy at the dealer level to stock any inventory is kind of keeping that recovery from coming quicker. So it will come. Yeah. You've been in ag over 20 years. I've been my whole life, and it'll turn around. It always does.
Yeah, it's sort of a weird time right now because of all the inventory and all the cash flow and all the regulations. I don't know if that's what I should call them, but it seems like they're regulations that come down from the majors that say you have to do this and you have to do that in order to be qualified to be a, John Deere dealer, let's just say it. And so cash flow is becoming king, and inventory, which it always should have been. I'm not saying it was a bad thing, but it seemed like, everybody had some cash. And now inventory is there's so much of it out there, and commodity prices aren't great, and tariffs are uncertainty. And the world we live in is just very, very uncertain. And this new normal, it's going to be interesting to see what that is. I don't know what your take is on that, but it's going to come out. We're going to come out of this one, I think, a little bit different than we've seen in the past.
Yeah, it's like my dad always told me, Joe, people are going to eat. So it'll come back.
It'll come back. It'll definitely come back. And I think we just got to be smart about it. And I've noticed, even since the last time I talked to you, there's little pockets of opportunity that are actually pretty good right now, specifically sort of in the aftermarket game. And if you can kind of avoid the dealerships and maybe sell some things direct, there's little pockets of opportunity. Guys want to buy. They know they need equipment. They know they need to stay on the cutting edge. It's just sometimes it's hard for them. It's hard to get it into their hands. That's the challenging part.
Well, I say that, and that's one thing. We protect our dealer network. We never sell direct because as soon as you do it, it's attractive. We're like, hey, I want to buy direct from the manufacturer. As soon as you do it, your dealer network's gone. They won't even talk to you. So between our OEM sales and then our dealer network sales through our distributors, it's too valuable. There's too much value added there, and so we won't go down that path.
Yeah, it's a good idea, and you got to kind of protect who got you there. You said something interesting when you were talking about kind of your timeline. You said you've got to be careful you don't have a customer that becomes too much of your business. Do you have a sweet spot there? Do you have a percentage? Do you have a number? And what's your strategy to make it so they aren't too big?
We like to not have anybody larger than 25%. And as I say this, in the past, we have failed on that. And it's through nobody's fault. It's just through organic growth that happens. But anyway, our strategy is we don't want to do any less business. We just put up more buildings, more machines, and we go find some other business to offset it. Yeah. And I mean, that's Dad and I were always wanting to put in machinery and build buildings, and we like to build product. I mean, that's kind of our thing. That's what gets us excited is producing. And anyway, since I've been out of college, 24 years now, the plant's basically tripled in size.
Wow. And that's all just due to explain your growth too. Some people's growth is we're going to build it and then go get the sales, or the other side of it is, hey, we got the sales, we have no choice but to build it. What's your strategy there?
We've done both. In the early days, we've gone nationwide with a sample of one. And then we've also had people come to us and say, hey, I need 10,000 of this attachment and, just build it for us. Or, well, usually it starts with a quote and then your word bid and then you build it. But that's kind of the fun thing about manufacturing is I've never had the same day twice, and I've been doing this my whole life. And every day is changing. You take the production, you've got a bottleneck here. So you buy a machine or you hire more people. Well, the bottleneck moves and you just sit there and chase it through the whole cycle back and forth, and it's never over. It's the same with building products. Every product has a life cycle, and you always have to constantly review them and innovate them and sometimes kill them. And anyway, as far as where those ideas come from, they come from all over, Joe. So we have people call us and say, hey, we'd like you to build this. We have people on the production floor saying, hey, if you did this, it makes my job easier and faster. My dad, he's an avid reader. He reads everything on print and searches everything on the internet, even though he's 86 years old. He's still quite an avid reader. And he's always coming to me saying, hey, I was reading this magazine, or I saw this on the internet, and there's a new technology we need to be aware of, and we need to be looking at how we can adapt to this and everything. And, and then, like I said, ideas come from everywhere, and we just try to stay open to it. And, I work a lot of the trade shows with our distributors, and if I hear the same idea 3 times, then it triggers me, and I really start studying it.
I better look into this. Yeah,
start looking at it. And that's what's kind of fun about my job now. I've been doing sales for a little over 10 years, is getting to meet people all around the country and actually the continent. And, you pick up little tidbits and everything. And, I've got a pretty good way of storing them and recording them. And then you just look at your notes after, 3 months or 6 months, and you're like, hey, we got some commonality here. There's something we need to make here, and then work with the team and do that. So it's been kind of fun. I mean, but that was Dad's strategy with me, Joe. And I know I'm bouncing a little bit. Sorry about that.
No, you're good, man. I like it.
Dad, started me. I was 6, 7. And I had a wheelbarrow, and I'd walk the ditches and pick up stuff. I'd walk the plant, and anywhere there was a mess, I would clean it up and everything. And then, I got a little bit older. I got into, high school, junior high. And I started getting to work with some of the department heads, and I started learning how to weld, how to run a lathe, how to run a Bridgeport, and all the different production machines. And then I got out of school, while I was in school, Dad would take me to the trade shows, and I would get to meet people around the Midwest primarily, but get to work the trade shows. So anyway, the true coming from the bottom up, and my dad's philosophy was you can never ask a person to do something that you're not willing to do or you haven't done. And so anyway, that's, now I'm going to be 46 this year. There's basically not a job in this manufacturing factory that I haven't done myself. And I think it carries some weight with your employees too. They kind of respect the fact, like, well, hell, Tim did this when he was a kid. He's not, asking me he's not sitting on his throne preaching to us. He's out here with us.
Well, and that's how you earn respect. And respect is one of those things that's earned. You can't just go in and say, I got it. You've got to earn it. And that's exactly how you do it. You start out as a little kid pushing a wheelbarrow around outside, picking up rocks or whatever else outside to make sure the place is clean. And then you move in to learn how to, turn a lathe or run a mill. And, that to me is sort of, I don't want to bring this guy up, but I might as well. It's like the Elon Musk method. He does things, he makes a lot of money. He's one of the richest guys, if not the richest guy in the world. But his purpose is to be an innovative manufacturer and to ensure that they're staying on the cutting edge. And he did that by learning how to be a manufacturer. You don't just go all of a sudden and do that. And it's sort of a method that I think more should probably follow. Let's just put it that way. You come in and you earn it, you do it. And I'm sure, I don't know if your kids are starting into the business, but you're probably doing the same things with them if they're walking in your footsteps, or is that a direction they want to go?
They're too young. So Elsa will be 16 here in August, and then Reagan's 12. And Elsa, it worked a little bit last summer, and then she's working this summer with me. She's gonna. I told her, I said, "Hey, you're gonna get a license. You need fuel money." So anyway, that's got her inspired to earn some money. But I'm not gonna push them. Dad wanted me to go work for somebody else when I got out of college, but just the way the stars aligned, he had a need, and I came and worked with Dad right out of college. But yeah, ideally, I'd like him to go work somewhere for 4, 5, 6 years, just to learn something outside of how we do it. And that's what every time we hire somebody that comes from somewhere else, they bring some valuable knowledge of, hey, you can do it like this, where us, we get stuck in our own four walls and we're like, hey, we've been doing it this way 30 years. just keep it going.
You hear that a lot from family businesses. I want my kid to go work somewhere else for a period of time before they take over. You kind of alluded to it as to the why, but it seems to me like, what if they go? I've known a few family businesses where someone has gone over and worked at a place, worked their way up, and then realized, hey, wait a minute, that's a better opportunity for that child or that person or that man or woman now. So where they've stayed, and that, I guess that's the danger of doing something like that. But the importance of it to you, you've already alluded to it, but talk a little bit more on why you think it's better to go elsewhere and then come back in. Just ideas and that kind of thing, or
ideas and seeing how different corporate structures work. There are multiple ways to structure a company, and not saying we do it the best, but one thing I just want to be adamant about is, and I've told my girls, I says, you have to love this business to be in it. There's so many ups and downs, and weather can swing you from profitable to, in the red in one season. And if you don't truly love the business and love producing equipment, then don't come back to it. You're just going to be miserable. So that's what I hope for my girls, just to find something they love and they're passionate about. But, what brought me back here, Joe, was the love of agriculture. I just absolutely love it from start to finish. I love the people. I'm biased, but I think in ag, we have the most genuine, good, honest people as customers and peers. And it's just the only place I want to be. It's still an industry where you stop and you help your neighbor. And, yes, there's some competition, but for the most part, everybody wants everybody to do well. And, you got associations like FEMA that we all belong to, and you've been there 100 times like I have. And, it's just everybody's pulling for each other. Everybody wants everyone to succeed. And that's why I love this industry.
It's so rare that especially when you join an organization like FEMA, where I just had a conversation with Mike Lessiter last week. They're doing a thing on, and they might interview you, maybe they already have, but about like, what if FEMA didn't exist? Sort of like It's a Wonderful Life. If FEMA didn't exist, where would you be? And I thought it's a really cool angle on how it works. And my point was, yeah, you're right. If I'm trying to bring someone new into FEMA, I talk about all the benefits. There's a lot of benefits, but I also talk about, it's sort of the best way to approach an organization like that is to say, okay, yes, I want my back scratched. I mean, obviously, we all want to do well in business, but also if you look at it like, how can I scratch your back? How can I help you too? And it's truly that way at FEMA. We all help each other out and want to truly see other people succeed within that organization, even though we could be competitors and even though we're all kind of
Mhm.
fighting for maybe the same business. But I think you're right, man. That love of this industry, you get sucked into it. It's hard to get out of it. And more importantly, you just don't want to get out of it. It's too good. It's part of you at this point in time, right?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And, over the years, there's characters that come in and out of ag. But,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if you try pulling stunts and aren't honest, we all find out about you. And it's such a small community, you won't stay in ag.
Yeah, you're
So,
done.
anyway, we kind of self police ourselves too.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, talk about your FEMA experience.
So,
And you've been going to FEMA since you were what? Young. Five,
yeah,
6, 7
seven.
years old? 7
Yeah,
years old.
seven.
Yeah.
So
Gosh.
dad got elected to the FEMA board in 1987, and back then, well, we still do it today. So everybody knows about the spring and fall conventions, but when you're on the board, there's a summer convention, and everybody brings their families. So anyway. In 1987, we were in Oklahoma, and anyway, I was on. There was a lake there, and went out with Bill Schmidtgall and his wife. And Bill used to run DMI back in the day. And then in the boat next to us, you had the Landau family. And anyway, with being in the association at that young an age, I made relationships with all these different manufacturers' children. And now we're of the age that we're running all of our families' respective companies, and there's such a bond there and such a level of trust that we have for each other that when we go to the conventions, the spring and fall conventions with everybody, I mean, it's just like having brothers and sisters, and you're seeing your relatives. And the beauty part is though, everybody's going to have stuff that happens. You're going to have hard times. They come, they go.
Yeah.
But having that peer group to call and say, "Hey, I got this going on. How do you deal with it, or have you dealt with it?" And just having that level of support, and that's FEMA's greatest secret that people that don't understand. And I try to preach to everybody: the networking at FEMA is why you go.
Yeah.
It is so worth it to know who your peers are, who your suppliers are, who your marketers are, and it's such a powerful tool. I mean, I have never had a situation in the last 24 years that I've been here at WorkSaver where I couldn't solve it by picking up a phone and making a call.
Yeah. And not to mention, I mean, a more tangible aspect of FEMA, and this is fresh in my mind because of my conversation with Mike, is you can maybe, because of the networking, because of the communications that we have there, and like on the supplier side of things, we'll go around and do a roundtable discussion, just a quick little, state of the union of everybody's businesses. And for the most part, 9 out of 10 businesses are having the same issues. But you can develop a trend at a FEMA convention that you might not have heard until that convention, whether business is going up or business is going down, or there's a new supplier that everybody should look at, or there's a new trend that everybody's talking about. I swear vertical tillage was created in the lobby of a FEMA show. Seriously, I'm not kidding. I think I had
No,
these
I remember.
conversations back in like 2008, 2009, and vertical tillage was created that kind of set the entire world on fire. But
Yeah.
all things like that sometimes happen at a hotel lobby bar over a couple beers and a few ideas. And that's the impressive part about FEMA, is it allows all these minds to come into one hotel for 3, 4 days and just collectively come together. And before you know it, vertical tillage is created. What's
Oh,
the
yeah.
next thing that's going to be created out of FEMA? Who knows? But
No, that's right.
it's,
And
it's,
we're in an exciting time right now. So I got on the board in 2015,
yeah.
and then I served as president in 2022. I'm now currently the association's treasurer. So if you need money, I got it. No, I was kidding. Anyway,
Right.
but we are rebranding FEMA, and the board of directors is working on this, and we felt FEMA for the longest time was the best kept secret, and only the select few knew about it. Well, it is our intention to keep promoting and keep expanding, and we're breaking out all sorts of new outlets to where we're inviting the universities in to talk to them, so we can bring that innovation from the idea to the factory, and how do we gel that together and get it to market quicker. We're working with several other associations just to share input and just to make agriculture better. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we want to do, and that's what we're going to be focused on.
Yeah, you got to have ideas and you got to have, I mean, people talk about rebranding. I work with a lot of companies now about their brand, and everybody wants to have a brand. And I've done a lot of kind of soul searching on what that means. And it's not really about a logo or a message or an elevator speech, or it's more about the feeling you get when you do business with that organization or that business or even that person. That's what a brand's all about. Like, what's the feeling that they're kind of unveiling? And I think you've kind of tied into it there with FEMA. It is this little best kept secret of the most innovative minds really in the world coming together and creating things that that kind of set the agricultural equipment side of space or equipment space into this revolutionary way. And that's what I think the FEMA brand is. You get this feeling that you're part of something there. You know, you're not this forgotten voice inside agriculture. And that's what I'm all about when I say rebrand or a brand. It's give me the feeling that I want when I walk into this place. And I mean, I know that's how you feel about FEMA, and I don't know how I can tell that's how, like when I talk to you, Tim, I get this feeling like you're just a down home, good dude, a guy that likes to talk to people and understands what it's like to, you know, do business the right way. I don't see you getting too uptight or upset. Maybe you do, but you fight for the right things. And, you know, that's your brand, in my opinion. Put that on a t-shirt and start selling hats and t-shirts about the Tim Burenga way or whatever it is.
There you go. Yeah, sometimes I'm a little strong opinion, so that's one of my strengths and flaws. But no, like I said, the thing I really enjoy about FEMA is that, you know, here's one place you go twice a year and you can see all of your customers, you can see all of your suppliers, and you can talk to your peers. And it's just so powerful to be able to accomplish that much business in 3 days, twice a year. And, you know, the spring has always been focused to supply chain. The fall's always been focused towards the marketing chain. And anyway, it's just a powerful tool. But, you know, this year is pretty exciting. So we're going to be celebrating our 75th year at Farm Equipment Manufacturers Association. So I was instructed by the board to quit being a tight ass and to open the checkbook. And so it's going to be October 27th through the 30th in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Cosmopolitan. And I'm not going to give away the farm yet, but we're going to have some big name entertainment. And if you haven't been to a convention in a while, put this on your calendar. It's going to be awesome, and we're pulling all the stops, and it's going to be one of the most memorable conventions that we've ever done in the history of our association. You talked about Mike Lester. We have hired him to do a book, the 75 years, and then he's also doing a video for us that'll hopefully be available later this summer, and he's going to help us promote it too. But anyway, we're really excited about it. And then it's kind of special for us, too, because there's two member companies that were charter members and are still active. And that, of course, is us under the old Wycombe Manufacturing, and then Dan User Machine Company out of Fulton, Missouri. And both of us are celebrating our 75th anniversary as well.
Oh, you're kidding me. I did not realize that.
It's pretty cool.
That's way cool.
I might have dropped a hint that I might like a little plaque or something, but you know. So.
I got you. There's only 2 of the charters left then. Huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
FEMA's been, is it FEMA or Mike? No, FEMA's been dropping these things on LinkedIn or maybe Facebook as well about like pictures from old conventions. And I think they're calling it like Throwback Mondays or Throwback Thursdays, whatever day they're doing. Have you seen these pictures?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Dude,
well, and part of it's on purpose is that we're trying to get people to identify it because, you know, you get a generation or 2 removed from those pics. Nobody knows who they are anymore. No. And so anyway, it's been working out because people have been commenting and saying, oh, yeah, that was so-and-so in 1961 and all this and that. And so it's going to help Mike with the book and help us identify some of the pictures we have. And then, you know, we reached out to some of the older member companies and they're like, hey, we got archives of photos. Can we submit them? And we're like, oh, really? So anyway, we got member companies uploading photos too. And like I said, this thing is going to be huge. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. And I just highly recommend everybody to come.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, it's cool to celebrate these things. And when you look back on it too, I was looking at, it was a photo, I think, from like the 90s, like the mid 90s, which year I graduated friggin' high school, which doesn't seem that long ago, but I see the clothes and stuff these people are wearing. I'm going, holy shit, look at this. I mean, that's a long time ago, man. It's it's crazy how much we've all changed. But yeah, it's a super good idea that they're doing. If you guys aren't following FEMA on LinkedIn or Facebook, follow them because it'll show you the camaraderie. Even through the photos, you can see the smiles and the camaraderie and the little huddle meetings, which we all still do today. And I love it, man. It's good stuff. Good stuff
Yeah.
for sure.
And break out the parachute pants again, don't you?
Yeah, me and MC Hammer,
There you go.
the old parachutes. Yeah. Um, how about let's talk about your manufacturing and your practices today. There's a lot of talk going on about freaking AI, and it's going to take over the world, and we have no choice but to accept it. I am a firm believer in I think AI. A quick little side story. My buddy just went to the Sphere in Vegas, which when we go out to Vegas in October, we'll have to go there. I guess it's like
Oh yeah.
it's like $150 to get in just to see like a preview. But they have little Android robots that I think more or less serve you drinks, serve you food. I mean, it's this user experience like no other. He's like, it'll blow your freaking mind. And it wasn't even like a concert or a show. It was just how the screen works and all this stuff coming at you. And I mean, it's technology at its finest. Clearly there's going to be a level of that in manufacturing. And we've already taken steps with, robotic welders. How many robots do you guys have at WorkSaver? You got to have probably at least one.
Yeah, we're running 8 arms right now.
There you go. So it's happening. What's the next thing you're looking at as far as manufacturing and where it's going? Do you see add more robots, less robots? Is labor an issue? Is labor always going to be an issue from today moving forward in the U.S., or is that going to improve? Give me your high level take.
You just asked a lot of stuff, Joe.
I ask a lot of questions.
So start with automation and everything. Yes, it's going to continue to develop and become better and quicker. The biggest saying in manufacturing right now is setup times. How long does it take you to set up and produce a part? Because we're all running leaner, and we're trying to do more setups per shift than we have historically in the past. And anyway, technology really helps with that, to where you can put a part in there, hit a couple of buttons, zero it, and go. And every year it is getting easier and easier. The power of automation. Take laser cutters. When they first came out, they were 2 and 3 kW. I've got a buddy down in Tennessee. He now has a 50 kW, and he's ripping 3/8 steel at like 400 inches a minute. It might even be more than that, but it's just insane. How much more you can get done per hour. As far as AI, we on the WorkSaver side, we have used it to help with marketing, to come up with creative ways to write pieces for whether it be social media or print or some type of advertising. As far as implementing it into our manufacturing process, we have not done that yet. And I'll be curious to see how that looks going forward. I'm not an expert on it, so I'm not really sure. But, something we talked about AI last time, the only thing that has my eyebrow raised and has me a little concerned is who controls the narrative. You're going to get to a point where everybody is going to rely on this electronic device to tell them what happened, instead of having, backup historical books or documentation that says, hey, here's what happened. Here's the witness that saw it. Now that's kind of gone away. So anyway, not to get in the weeds too much with that, but I think we need to be careful with it and everything. Okay. Labor.
Yeah.
Labor during COVID was not fun. No. All of us, I don't care what industry we were in, if they could walk and breathe, we were hiring people just try to help and everything. But something we've done, and some of our peers have done this as well, is that we have a regional training center that we got started a couple years ago.
I remember this from last time. This is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And so anyway, it's through Southern Illinois College. And anyway, we pull in 11 different communities, because we're in a small town. Litchfield is the biggest town in the county. We're about 7,000 people, and all the other towns are anywhere from 500 to 3,000, 4,000. And so we bring in 11 different school districts, and it's juniors and seniors, and they can learn a trade. So we've got all the union trades there: electrical, plumbing, carpentry. We've got an ag, or no, we didn't. Yeah, I'm sorry, we didn't do the ag program. We got automotive, where they can learn how to be a mechanic. And then there's a welding division that WorkSaver, we sponsor that and donate to that. And in the first year, we had 8 kids try it out. And anyway, because some are hesitant, they're like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this or not. But they went back to school and talked to their buddies and everything. Well, now we're in the second year, and we have 24 kids, and we can handle 12 kids per class. There's a morning and afternoon class, so we're booked up. And so this summer, school's out. We've got a couple of the kids interning here with us, and that's really helping to get involved with your community and get the next workforce trained, because welding is a skill that's very hard to find anywhere across the country. And I guess that's my message to our fellow peers and everything is, the days of sitting there and somebody walking in the door and filling out an application, it still happens a little bit. But, to be successful in today's world with all the competition we have from different employers, you have to be involved, and you have to get people understanding who you are, what you do, and what you offer to them to choose to have a career with you.
Yeah. Do you have a percentage of those kids that come and train with you that stick around, or is that really is that the point? I mean, obviously that's clearly probably part of the point for you, but what's that number look like?
So we're only in our second year, Joe, so I don't have enough metrics to talk
Sure.
on that. But that's our hope, is that here we're going to sponsor this program, and hopefully we can get some workers to work with us. And if they only stay a couple of years, hey, that's great. Learn what you can from us, and go advance your career. But we have a lot of folks out on the shop floor that have been with us 20, 30 years.
Yeah. And that's maybe the thing that sort of scares me a little bit. Is that going to be a thing of the past where someone sticks around there's so many stories of the baby boomer generation, which killed a lot of us, a lot of manufacturers during COVID, when they all decided to up and retire, because they were the 30, 40-year career guys that started on the shop floor, stayed on the shop floor. The business became part of them. I mean, it was more than just a career. It was a family at that point in time. Is that thing going away? Are we still going to see that in the future, or what's your thoughts?
Companies that run their employees like they're a number, yeah, it's gone away. Companies like us that try to treat them as family, no, it's still there. Yeah, people become part of your culture, and they want to stay with you, and you have to treat them right too. You can't not pay them enough or not give them enough benefits and everything. But we're a big believer that you treat your employees well, they're going to treat you well back.
Yeah, and it's so critical and vital. Even though a lot of talk today is AI is going to take over, and we might have robots that are sitting there working in Subway serving us sandwiches. That might happen. That might be a thing, but it's not happening today. Today, you still got to walk into Subway and order your sandwich, and a person has to give that to you. And I think the reality of that is you can totally tell when you walk into a place and you see a smiling face and somebody that wants to be there and somebody cares about that business. It's just better overall service. It's night and day different. And I'm starting to see more and more of that over the course of the last 3, 4, 5 months. It seems like it just went completely away, but I don't know. I have some hope. I'm holding out hope that I'm seeing more of it as time goes. I don't know what I can attribute it to. It is what it is. And then, of course, the LA riots happened yesterday or 2 days ago. So shit, who knows? Maybe I'm off. But
I agree with you, Joe. So I have seen it in the last 5 years. Is that this next generation that's coming up and everything, that they're coming out of school with a little bit more job skills, where, hey, you show up on time, hey, you work in teams, hey, you're reportable to this. And I see some of that coming back, and I think these regional training centers that are popping up all over the country are helping with that. And I think the teachers have kind of changed their way too. It used to be frowned upon if you didn't go to a 4-year college after high school. Everybody's starting to realize, hey, you can make a great career learning a trade, and there's a huge resurgence in that coming out right now.
Yeah. And I find it funny. Like when I was 17 years old as a junior, my junior summer, so I'm putting myself in my daughter's stage in life right now. She's going to be a senior next year. What did I want to do? I wanted to probably go find my buddies and then go chase girls around and then probably get into some other sorts of trouble. Not her, man. She gets up at like 5:30. She goes she swims. So she swims for an hour and a half, 2 hours, goes to work, then goes to a second job. And it's just like, what is this? And she's not alone. She's not like a special kid. This is a lot of kids her age that they value, they want to make their own money. They want to be somebody. They're very career driven. And, just when we were starting to give up hope on people, there's generations that are coming into the fold that are going to kind of dominate things. And I mean, if she represents that generation, there's a lot of them out there. I'm not specializing my kid here, but I think that's something to be hopeful in for sure. And I think you're seeing it too. I mean, clearly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. And if you think back to the 90s when you and I were in school, that was the start of, hey, we got to offshore all these dirty jobs, whether it be manufacturing or mining or whatever. And now all of a sudden people are realizing, especially after the COVID with no supply, oh, crap, we need to bring this stuff back. We need to learn how to build it here. Yeah. And I think, I am optimistic that we're going to have a resurgence in manufacturing in the U.S. And the great thing is the new factories that are going to be built are going to be done with new technology, and it's going to make us more efficient than the low-cost providers across the pond. And so I at the end of the day, I'm betting on America. I think America's going to win.
Yeah. That's a good statement. That'll be a YouTube short right there. At the end of the day, I'm betting on America. Watch, that one will go viral.
There you go.
What the hell's going on in LA, man? What's your take on that? You want to get into that?
Nope. No, I'd prefer not to. All I will say is, in my experience, when you give something to people for nothing, they value it as nothing. If you teach people to earn something, they apply value to it. So I'll just leave it at that.
My only take on it is this, and I think it's a good take because I've heard it from a lot of people. It's like, where do these people have time to do this? Are they not working? Clearly they aren't working because they're like this. It started, I think, in the middle of the day on Friday and continued all weekend. And then yesterday, and I'm going, somebody would have to pay me probably a significant amount of money, even if it's something I believe in with all my heart, to be like, Joe, we're going to this rally today. I want you to hold this sign. It's 95 degrees outside, super hot, but I want you to be there for like 7 hours. Okay, I'll go, but you better pay me a hell of a lot of money to do that. And these people are just, I don't know. It's wild. And I hope we nip it in the butt before it spreads and we have this crazy summer of 2025. I don't want that to happen. Hopefully we're nipping it in the butt, but
I think we learned our lesson last time when, Minneapolis and Baltimore and St. Louis burned and.
Yeah, wild times, Tim.
Well, we talked about politics. Let's go to religion next.
Okay, let's go to religion. Yeah, you wanted to talk about religion the last time.
No, like I said, hey, since we're on the subject, I was kind of being a smart ass, but in all seriousness, there's been a resurgence of religion coming about. You go back 10 years ago, nobody talked about it. And, you look at like the Chosen series and how well it's done. And I've seen it in my day to day. People are talking about the Lord and Christ more than they ever have. And it's a good thing. And I think that's part of the reason we're seeing a correction in some of the work ethics and everything. Maybe I'm tying too much to it, but I think it helps. I don't think it hinders anything. And anyway, I'm just happy that we're starting to see it come around.
Yeah, sometimes you got to fall on your knees before you need somebody to save you, and it's been really rough the last 4 or 5 years living in not just America, but the entire world. It's been crazy, crazy times. And I think there's been some people that are just like, I can't do it on my own. I've tried and I suck at it. I'm terrible at it. I'm trying so hard to control all these things. And it's when you finally realize I got to give this up. Like I know somebody that can take it all on his shoulders. And, what I always say is this guy, got whipped and beaten and the hell kicked out of him. And then somebody nailed him to a tree and he did it for you, man. And he did it for me. And the least we can do is to have a relationship with this person and ask the question, well, why did you do that for me? You must have really loved me, and to me that matters. And I think people are starting to get on their knees and realize how much it matters and how freeing it really is once you do it. So yeah, I love this resurgence. I hope it's just the start. I hope it's just the start because it makes life so much sweeter if we can get to it.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. There's so many things in our lives that we can't control, and the people that think they can are blind and ignorant. And the COVID days were, oh my goodness, that was such a. I tell everybody it aged me 10 years because, you have so much business coming at you and you got so many opportunities and problems you got to face every day that, you just eventually just say, hey, you know what? I woke up today. I'm going to go do what I can. And at the end of the day, I'm going to go home and kiss my kids and hug my wife and do it again tomorrow. I mean, you just get to a point where you just got to. And anyway, the other thing is we got something to look forward to at the end. There's people that don't.
I know.
I'm like, what's your point? I don't get it. So anyway,
yeah. Yeah, it's true, and it's also one of those things that sometimes we all need a North Star, somebody to steer us, because ineptly life is hard, and we're forced to make some of these decisions, and sometimes we don't know if it's the right decision or the wrong decision, and it's hard to put that pressure on us. But if you kind of give it to God and say, "Help me," and I want to make this decision with you, it still might not be the right one. We still are humans, and we screw up, and we fail all the time. But at least you're asking for some guidance and some help from somebody that knows. And so, yeah, man, that's exactly the way I feel. I know me. I couldn't do life without God. There's no chance. I've tried in the past and I failed. And so now it's the start of every one of my days and the end of every one of my days, and hopefully everything in between. And so I'm on the boat, man, and he's just blowing it around, and I'm kind of holding on and saying, okay, this is the direction you want me to go. Let's go. I'm here. Yep. So I love that. I love that. Yeah. Good. Well, we should probably sail this boat into shore. We've been about an hour, and sorry we had to do take 4 here, but this time I know it worked. So you're gearing up to go to FEMA. You're on I can't remember if we mentioned your 58-hour road trip.
Yeah, we talked about the take 2, I think. So.
Yeah, so I didn't count in this one, but you're about to embark on a 58-hour road trip, leaving here in a couple of days, and bringing your Clark Griswold and the family with you, and here we go, right?
Yep. Like I said, I told the girls you got to do it at least once in your life. That way you can tell the therapist something later on. So, now memories will be made, and they're going to see things. And here I am, 40, going to be 46. I've never been to Yellowstone, so I'm pumped. I'm ready to go. So
I bet. You got the oil change in the car and the tires rotated. Yeah, you're ready.
Well, the beauty thing is I have a very strong partner in my wife, and so anyway, the way it usually works is I tell her where and when, and then she does the rest. So I don't even know where we're staying. So
okay, I'm just
the driver.
She's the planner and says we're going here. Good for her.
Yeah, she's a huge asset. So couldn't do this without her.
That's true with all of us, man. I think that's another beauty of all of us that have known each other for so long. We've got to know each other's wives and families, and it's like we're rooting for each other, and we're proud of each other, and we're all going in the same direction. So you're definitely on that crowd, Mr. Burenga, and I appreciate that for sure.
Not a problem. And Joe, just to let you know, got the garden growing. Everything will be ready in a couple months. So
nice. I like my salsa.
Yeah, we'll do. You're on the mailing list.
Tell everybody how to get in touch with you, how to get in touch with WorkSaver.
Okay, well, easiest is WorkSaver.com. That's got all of our info on there, phone numbers and emails and all that good stuff. And then, like I said, mine's real simple. It's Tim at WorkSaver.com. I have to keep it easy in my life because there's too much to remember. So anyway, but check us out. We have over 500 attachments that fit tractors, skid steers, and many walk-behinds, and we just keep growing every day. No intentions of quitting.
Yep, nice. Well, sounds good. Appreciate you coming on, Mr. Tim Burenga, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Take care, buddy.
Yep. You too. Hey, folks, thanks for tuning into the Germinate podcast. If you found value in today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others in the industry. And join me next time as we continue to explore the innovations and strategies shaping the future of agriculture and business. Until then, keep growing, keep innovating, and keep germinating your success.